Ahimsa. What is it? In this video, we're going to talk about when the concept of Ahimsa would arise, who believes in the concept, and 3, what exactly is Ahimsa? Let's get started. First, when would the concept of Ahimsa even arise? Well, maybe you're learning yoga, not just the physical, outwardly pretzely stuff, but the metaphysical or the philosophical, inwardly yoga stuff. Yoga is not just a thing you do with your body, but it's also something you do with your mind. We'll talk more about that. If you are learning the religions that come out of India, the Indian religions, like, for example, Hinduism, Jainism, Sikhism, Buddhism, you would be learning from studying Indian religions the concept of Ahimsa. And if you were trying to learn some kinds of alternative ethical codes or moral principles to live by other than the big mainstream ones like deontology or utilitarianism, then you might also be studying the yoga yamas. You might study Ahimsa because it is also a ethical principle. So the second question after we look at when would this concept even arise is who practices it or aims to practice it. The Indians practice Ahimsa, or typically they do. A traditional idea in Indian religions is to practice nonviolence. There's a lot on the screen. I'll explain it all one by one. But the first thing I want to do is make it clear that Ahimsa is literally translated into non-violence or injury. The in Ahimsa is the non part. We're going against himsa, violence or injury. This is not only physical, this is also mental. So the concept of Ahimsa is that we should not have bad thoughts about ourselves, not have bad thoughts about other beings, not say bad things about ourselves, not say bad things about others, not harm ourselves, not harm others, not to cause any negative or injury or violence. In general, that's the concept of Ahimsa. Now let's find where exactly it's going to be placed in this system. The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali is a text that you can find and read that will tell you what yoga is. And according to Patanjali, I hope I'm saying the name correctly, yoga is the cessation, the stopping of, to cease, the fluctuations like butterfly wings or hummingbird wings of your mind. The stillness of your mind is what you reach when you do or achieve this state. So yoga is partially physical and partially mental or spiritual. And Patanjali defines for us some things that we can do, one of which is Ahimsa, to still the mind. This text gives us another text or set of principles, the 8 limbs. When you're reading the 5 Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, you would learn about the 8 limbs of yoga. And the first of the 8 limbs of yoga are the 5 yamas. And the 5 yamas include Ahimsa. In fact, Ahimsa is the number 1 yoga yama. Ahimsa, this idea of non-injury or non-violence, is the number 1 out of the 5 yamas. So let's back this up again. Yoga Sutras of Patanjali teach us about the 8 limbs of yoga. There are 8 different limbs of yoga, one of which, the first one of which, are the 5 yamas. And the number 1 yama is Ahimsa, non-violence, non-injury. The A tells you no or rejects, Ahimsa, which is violence or injury. So the idea of Ahimsa, non-violence, non-injury, is one of the 5 yamas, which is one of the 8 limbs of yoga. And the Yoga Sutras are the philosophical side of what we're doing when we try to bring stillness into our mind.